Good morning, B2B marketeers. With me today is Michael Brenner. Good morning, Michael.
Hello.
For the guys who don't know you, Michael, beside being the founder of the B2B Marketing Insider, which is amazing, nice blog for business-to-business marketer, great content. Maybe you can tell us what you do as well.
Yeah, sure. So I'm a senior director of integrated marketing at SAP. And working on across our entire portfolio around the world, trying to drive integrated strategies primarily with content.
Sorry, Michael, we have to do it again. I'm going to record in a different way now, okay?
Okay, sure.
That's right. Good morning, B2B marketeers. With me today is Michael Brenner. Good morning, Michael.
Hello.
Just to tell the audience who don't know who you are, Michael has a very interesting blog called b2bmarketinginsider.com with lots of great content for business-to-business marketers, so I recommend you to check out this blog. But beside that, Michael, you are also a real B2B marketeer. Can you share with us what you do?
Sure, and thank you for that support. I appreciate it. My role at SAP is as Senior Director of Integrated Marketing, where I drive integrated strategies across the world for our entire solution portfolio, primarily with content and content strategies.
Michael, I told you that, but I'm going to repeat it again. I really like your content because it feels that it's a really content that drives from a real experience from business-to-business marketeer. But just looking at it, how do you manage your time to produce so much content, also not related to SAP products, but more related to your passion on marketing? How do you find the time?
It's a question I get all the time, and you know, particularly from executives like us who are busy, it can be a real challenge. And I get the question sometimes from people within the company. And I'm very lucky and fortunate to have a supportive environment at SAP, where you know, my desire to share my thoughts and experiences with the world is supported and encouraged. And part of the reason that they do that is because they recognize that by producing valuable, insightful, and thoughtful content, it may not always be right, but at least it's thoughtful. That I'm part of the conversation that's occurring in the world of marketing, and marketers is a viable audience for SAP. We sell CRM software, we sell business analytics software, we sell plenty of things to marketers, and we know that marketers in corporations around the world, both large and small, are influencing many of the software decisions that their CIOs and their CFOs are considering and their CEOs are considering. So from that perspective, the company is very supportive, because of the fact that by participating in the global conversations in marketing, I'm sharing and spreading a positive image of SAP is kind of the goal. How I find time, you know, I really feel that it's a part of my job. So as a digital marketer, I think it's important to be either, you know, people talk about there's content producers, there's content sharers, and there's content consumers. And I think that all marketers should at least be sharers, if not producers. That we shouldn't just be sort of the leeches in the world of content. That as marketers, we should be participating in those conversations, even if it just means that we're sharing things that we find important or find valuable.
Exactly. Yeah.
Now, when I look, you know, I produce really only 2 blogs per week. It takes me about 45 minutes. I've gotten pretty good. People talk about there's a writing muscle, so I've tried to strengthen my writing muscle as much as I can. But it's 2 blog posts a week, so in the end, it's really only about an hour and a half. I try to get it done off hours. I spend obviously some time every day using social vehicles, you know, Twitter and LinkedIn and Facebook, to share some of the information. But you know, I always tell people it's like email 20 years ago. I remember when I first started working, people would say, "Oh, I don't know how anyone would ever find time for email," right? And now you can't imagine not spending your day answering and creating email. And I find social activities the same exact way. I build it into my day.
Michael, I read one of your blog posts, which I really could associate with the situation where many of our customers facing at the moment, at least the ones that are quite enthusiastic on the topic of content marketing, when they come and present it inside the company, either to sales or to management, people are getting scared because basically you're not talking anymore about products or your own brand. You need to talk about more issues that has to do with your buyers' challenges and pains. And basically, when you talk about content that is not related to product, and people get some sort of feeling that you're not pushing enough. That's why I really like this post. But can you tell us, how do you get the buy-in in your organization to do content marketing?
Yeah, it's a great question. And the story I always tell is that if you walk into a bad sales experience here in the United States, car dealerships are a great example, or furniture stores in some cases, where you walk in and you get attacked by a salesperson on the floor who's clearly only interested in selling you something. They're not interested in what you're looking for. And so, many people around the world have had that kind of experience where, a salesperson is a little too pushy, and is only concerned with themselves. And so, it helps to start with a foundation and a shared experience around that. And if you can get a salesperson to talk about a similar experience, that they know that there's a spectrum of activity, and they need to fall on the less pushy side at times. But in the end, it comes down to, I think, the whole point of marketing is to understand consumers and to have our customers feel like we're on their side, as opposed to being on just our side. So, the best way to do that is not to start the conversation that you have with any customer with what I have to sell you, but to start with, hey, what are your problems? What are your challenges? And to do that in a meaningful way, that's not created or false, and be authentic. And people use that word a little too much now these days. But when you truly come to the customer conversation with their needs in mind, then you very quickly get to an understanding that you need to create content from a marketing perspective within our corporations that meets the needs of those consumers and those customers in the earlier stages of their buying cycle, which is prior to the point at which they're ready to pick a solution or create a short list of brands that they're going to be choosing from. So once you, I think, explain that in a simple way, like I just have, hopefully, then salespeople quickly turn around and understand that they know that the majority of the sales process is now being managed by customers themselves.
Yeah.
They used to call salespeople up and they used to say, "Hey, help me through this process." And now with the internet and with blogs and with social media and the influence of peer reviews,
exactly.
Customers, they travel most of that journey on their own now.
Yeah.
So salespeople quickly understand it. They're living that reality.
Okay. And how does it work for you? I mean, how long have you been doing content marketing for business?
Well, I like to say I've always done content marketing. But in this role, very specifically, it's just been a few months. And SAP as an organization, we totally get content marketing. The thing that's been missing, I think, from a global level is a content strategy, where we're looking at, we like to say that everyone produces content and no one produces content, because it's no one's real job to be a content producer. It's part of their job.
Yeah.
And because of that, there's no overarching strategy that looks across all of those people that produce content and all the people that share content and promote content, and to identify, okay, how well are we meeting the needs of our customer base and all the different phases of the buying cycle for all the different people that are involved in the decision process, and how do we make sure that we have that content that meets their needs?
Because how many people, if you look at the typical buying cycle or sell cycle of your products, how many different people are in the sales in the decision making unit?
Well, it varies so drastically depending on, we have over, thousands of products and hundreds of solution areas that we sell. But, the research that we've done shows that it's a dozen or more. So, and it's from the C-level all the way down to users of software. So it can very quickly, with a large ERP or CRM implementation, get to dozens of people very quickly.
Okay. So with your experience in content marketing, what are the best 3 tips you can give business-to-business marketeers who are starting up their content strategy right now?
Yeah. Okay, just 3, huh?
Yeah.
Well, there's one that I think rises above all the rest. So I'll start with that. Understanding the audience is really, it's a key point in content marketing and content strategy. It's a key point really in marketing, and it's something that I think we often forget. And it's easy to do because, I always say that the reason we do a lot of our bad marketing is because we skip the step of understanding the audience, and we jump very quickly to trying to sell our solutions very directly, right? So if we have a solution for retailers, we'll go find the channels that retailers use, like a trade publication, and we'll run an ad or we'll run a program at that audience. And that's not always the right way to go.
Yeah.
Unless we've talked to the retailers themselves and said, hey, where do you find and gather and receive information? So that's clearly step number 1, is understanding the audience at a holistic level. The second step, obviously, is, I think, doing a mapping or an audit of the content that you do to produce. I've seen studies that say that marketers, about 80% of the content we produce never gets used externally.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah.
And obviously there's an important need to meet the sales folks and customer service and some other areas within the company that need to consume the content. Positioning, messaging, documentation, those kinds of things may never actually get out to the marketplace. It's important to do that stuff, but it's also important to look at the cost of content and to try to understand where it's getting used when it's intended to be used externally and where it's not, and how you can cut that waste. And then when you do that audit, you'll see, for example, in our case, we had a huge gap in the earliest stages where we weren't producing thought leadership or educational content. So that would be number 2. And then number 3, another step that I think a lot of marketers miss, because again, they assume that they understand where our consumers and our buyers are consuming information, is to do really an understanding of media consumption. So, what percentage of your dollars are being spent relative to the different channels, whether it's print or TV or social or online. Mobile is the latest thing that people are talking about.
Yeah.
And try to understand, are your media dollars matching the new ways that the world's changing so quickly? Social media and mobile and online advertising, the dollars haven't really kept up with the consumption. And so those would be the top 3 things I would lay out for people.
Okay, great. Sounds like really nice tips. Again, I'm repeating that folks that looks at us right now can go to your blog, b2bmarketinginsider.com, and enjoy plenty of great content. Thank you very much for your time, Michael.
It's my pleasure.
And keep on the good work.
Thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.